Check it out. We have tyres on. Fantastic. Just got back from Cambridge, got a phone call, had the car, and we've got the rubber on the wheels. So we can get these bad boys onto the bike and hopefully get the bike off the stand and have a look at the way it stands. Welcome back to the shed. So yeah, I'm well chuffed. As you know, I was a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure if you know, I had to make a bit of a compromise on this front tyre. I wanted it a bit beefier and fatter, and I think at first glance I'm alright with it. I'm actually alright with it. I'll give you a closer look up. I mean, they're quite nice sort of treads on these ones, on the Metzlers. Got that nice, I don't know, they've got a bit of a hark more back to the vintagey kind of a look, but with modern day handling, don't you know? So I'm pretty chuffed. I'm not too disappointed. Yeah, in an ideal world, I would have loved a bigger and fatter front tyre, but you know, maybe I could have mixed and matched tyres, done something a bit different. Maybe I could have pushed it a bit further, but I haven't. But I mean, that's the front. So it's, yeah, it's not massive, but then I don't know. It doesn't bother me quite as much as I thought it was going to bother me. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. I really like the tread on them. Actually, it's kind of the tread sold it for me. I don't know, it seems a bit of a silly thing to get excited about, but there we go. So I'll get these onto the bike, and then we can get the bike down off the stand. The Bonneville's back inside the house, and we can actually have a look and see what this thing looks like when it's sort of sitting on the ground, which I'm, you know, first time I've done it, and I'm really excited, a bit apprehensive to see how it's going to actually sit. What I'll do is I'll throw the seat and the tank on as well, so we can get a vague overall look, and yeah, have a little bit of a small sort of reveal really. So stay tuned. Right then, figure we'll start with the front wheel. Trying to put out a good sort of semi-good camera angle so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm trying to do it in such a way that I don't quite reveal what it all looks like together just yet. But not an awful lot of parts to go on this. We've just got the front wheel. We've got the hub with the brake shoes in, and the spindle. And then done the old trick, as I tend to do, of lining all the spaces up as they go back on there, so it just makes life a little bit easier to try and remember what goes on where and how. So I'm going to just put a little bit of grease on the axle. Just got some of this stuff, and we'll slide the wheel on. Try and do the little bit of a balancing act of trying to keep all the spaces together and hold the wheel on. I could chop it up with a few blocks of wood, but I'm going to attempt without to begin with. First, so I'm trying and get some of this on camera as well. So there we go. That just simply sits in there till you find it locates nicely. So we have brake shoe on this side, and then you'll see on the fork leg there's like a kind of guide little nubbin for it to slide into to stop it rotating. Let's try and get this into position a little bit, and then these spacers go on to the side. They actually all sit in there quite nicely. So I think after the dry run of putting this wheel on, it's actually not particularly painful to get this wheel on. Sometimes it's a bit of a balancing act. Let's see if I can try and do this without scratching
anything. Hey, so far so good. Boom, front wheel on. Just giving you the little teaser look there. Again, I'll need to torque everything down, but I'm going to do that when it's all sort of together, and you know, I've decided everything's where it should be. Okay, so front wheel, spaces on. Trying to do it without giving it away, but it's not. It kind of looks like a BMX, doesn't it? So reminds me of my little BMX. Fantastic. Okay, right, rear wheel. Right then. So back on the rear end. So that's our assembly. Whoops, for the back. So that goes in from the sprocket, so in the sprocket side, so the sprocket's on this side. We have that goes in to the sprocket as a kind of cap spacer, the chain adjustment guide here and there, and then on the other side we've just got this one spacer and the adjustment guide there, and then obviously the wheel and the hub again. Yeah, again, mercifully quite a fairly simple setup, so hopefully not too much trying to juggle and balance stuff. So again, a little bit of grease on the axle. Right, that's the rear wheel on. So, do I show you now, or do we put the chain on first and just keep this moment of suspense going a little longer? Yeah, I think we'll probably put the chain on. Of course, another item which will be handy to put on before I take it off the stand is the side stand. So I'll pop that on while it's still fresh in my mind. So it's fairly simple, so that can just go on there. That's had about 4 coats of hammerite now, just a pin there, but I'm just going to put a little bit of copper slip on the shaft there, just so it's a moving part. Just a little smidge on there. Lovely. And even though the nut is one of these ones with, I don't even know what the technical term is, if someone could perhaps enlighten me, but it's got that kind of edge on the inside. I don't know if that assists with the kind of locking properties of this nut, but I'm going to pop a little bit of Loctite on there as well, just because we're not going to be running with a centre stand, so this is the only means of having this is the only sort of stand it's going to have, so you know, let's try and make sure it stays on. Lock. Dookie. Let's get the spring on now. I'll try and do that without springing and twatting myself in the face, or even worse, scratching anything. So far, no scratches. These are the ones where you don't, I mean, I've always been used to, on high powered bikes obviously, you don't have this arrangement where the pin goes in, the face goes on, and it's kind of held in place by this little locking tab. This kind of setup is usually reserved for fairly low powered bikes. A high powered bike, you really want something that's going to be a bit more beef, and therefore you have the rivet and you pin over the ends of the eyelets with the faceplate on. God, did that make any sense? I'm just talking out my arse at the moment, but you know what I mean. So it's basically, rather than having to pin once you've pushed the plate on, which is like an interference fit, and then peening the ends over with either a chain flaring tool or a punch or a drift or whatever you want to use, this just simply clips over here, which is kind of a bit scary, but I guess this thing's not really, what's it putting out, 18 horsepower or something like that, so it's not exactly a monster. So the idea of obviously deemed this to be adequate for the setup. In an ideal world, I always prefer to rivet the chains on, but here we go. And the only thing you've got to remember is, with this little clip, it needs to have the, I've got to try and remember this now, I am actually going to just double check and look this up because it's been so long. The closed end, because that's obviously the open end, needs to be in the direction of the travel of the chain, so the chain's obviously going that way, so it needs to go on this way, and that's just going to fit on like that. I might have to get pliers around it. There we go, like that, and then that sits a bit like a circlip in the grooves around there. So that's it. Obviously we need to adjust the chain to get it right, but I'll do all that as and when. But the chain is on, so really all that remains now is for me to run inside, get the tank, set the camera up, and I'll, that's Jen tapping at the window, and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, one thing I want to do, just to double check, is the rear brake switch, which I've extended the wiring on. I want to check that actually works, so what I'm going to do is just unhook it from the harness here, because to be fair, I don't even know if this brake switch works, so it's, I mean, there's going to be a long process, probably, I imagine, of going through trying to figure out any electrical gremlins. I can't wait. But so yeah, so I've got the two wires there, trusty multimeter, set it to the beepy noise one, and then this is the balancing act bit. Let's I've got to try and maintain a good contact with the old little pro voids in there. So get those two on there, and then in theory, when I pull the spring as if the brake was being depressed, we should get a beep. Excellent. So we know that's working. Hurrah! At least that's one electrical thing that's working. Alright then, so here we go. Chains on, wheels are on, tank and seat have just been thrown on just for a visual, so we can have a little look at how she's standing. Right behind me, so I'll get my ugly mug out of the way, and you can have a little look. So there we go. I'm pretty. I'm really happy with the way it's all sort of sitting together there. It looks. Yeah, it looks really nice. Yeah, it's pretty groovy to yeah, to sort of sit on and have a look at. I'll give you a visual with a big sort of 6'1", 6'2" numpty like myself on it. There we go. That's what. So your foot's going to be around about here. But so yeah, so it doesn't feel as there's less on it, but it feels less small than it did when I first got it. Really, it's bizarre, but yeah, let's get you up and have a little closer look around from a few different angles. So there we go. So that's pretty much it, I think, for this video. Yeah, just a little little look-see to give us a bit of an idea of what the end result's going to be. What's next on the list of to-do things? I mean, there's quite a lot still to go through the checklist. Obviously, nothing's torqued down properly, so I mean, there is literally from front to rear, every nut, bolt, fastener, everything needs to be checked and double-checked. Forks are out of alignment, obviously, so I need to straighten those up. There'll be the minor adjustments to get the bars just right and the controls where I want them. The seat I need to finish off just neatening up the folds in the back there. What else? Obviously we've got the loom to kind of finish and work out. I mean, that's some of the next major bits, is going to be working out the brackets for the indicators at the rear are sorted. I just need to get the indicators. The front, I've got to work out what's happening, where they're going to bolt to. I'm still very much vibing on a small bottom mount headlight, I think, for there. So we need to work out the electrics, get all that kind of working and running. What I'll also do is just throw the exhaust on, which will be this side next. And it's going to give me an idea of what kind of end-can silencer type arrangement I'm going to want on there. I've purposely left that until the end, so I didn't want to buy something and then, you know, it feel too long or whatever. You know, so I can have a look at that. So that needs to be done. And then once if that all fires up and starts rolling, speedo we need, obviously. There are going to be some carb fettling, and what was the other thing that suddenly just I thought? Ah, yeah, on the I'll come over the other side. On the chain, I'm going to have a chain guard on there. I prefer the look without. Obviously, it always looks cooler the more kind of potentially dangerous it is. But there will be a chain guard on there, but I'll be utilising the stock guard, but that's going to get cut down, maybe have some holes drilled in it, just to customise that a little bit more, and yeah, get that side cover on, and yeah, there we go. So the old girl is getting closer and closer to completion, but it's nice. I quite like it's got that nice little, I don't know, bratty, street trackery, dirt trackery, insert whatever current phrase is applicable, you know, kind of vibe to it. It's got all the vibes that I wanted. And yeah, I'm really not as upset about the front tyre as I thought I was going to be. I really did think that was going to be a bit of a kind of, you know, massive compromise, but it actually, I think it seems all right, you know. Could be a little wider, a little bit chunkier, but hell, you know, there we go. That's what's on there, and I like it. So that's it. I'm going to call it a night for tonight and upload this, and I can't wait to get cracking on it again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, ride safe, see you all soon.